In this video, we're going to install another virtual machine. This machine will have the Windows 10 operating system installed on it. In order to do that, let's go ahead and open up our browser. We're going to keyword search for Windows, Evaluation, Download. Alright, from the Microsoft Evaluation Center, we know we want to install Windows 10 Enterprise, so I'm going to click that directly. And we'll select the option for the ISO Enterprise. Click Continue. And then you got to enter your information. And we'll go ahead and select Continue. We'll select the option for 64-bit. We want English. And we'll select Download. I already have this downloaded, so I'm just going to go ahead and cancel. One thing to note is that the license that comes with this free download is a 90-day trial. Your ISO file would have downloaded in your download folder, just like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to move that. So I'm going to cut. I'm going to go to my Hack Lab folder that I have on my desktop. I'm going to create a new folder called Windows 10. You see how that works? I have my Kali Linux machine. I had installed 2 Kali Linux machines. You only need 1. But each of my virtual machines are inside their folder. It's good to keep things clean and organized. It minimizes the potential for issues later. So I'm going to open up that Windows 10 folder that I just created, and I'm going to paste that ISO file that I downloaded from the evaluation page. If you notice also, your evaluation CD has this long drawn out name. What I did was I right click and I renamed mine to Windows 10 Evaluation. This allows me to identify the file a lot easier. Okay, with our ISO file downloaded, I am now going to attempt to install it on my VMware. It's going to be a little bit different from how we did with Kali Linux. In this one, we're going to first start with create a virtual machine. Now what we're going to do is select the third option. I will install the operating system later. Select Next. We have Microsoft Windows, and this is a Windows 10. So let's go ahead and select that. It's a 64-bit. Select Next. Now you can name the machine whatever you want. So I'm going to call mine Win 10. And now it's important that we browse to that Windows 10 here. Remember that Windows 10 folder that we just created? It's important that we browse to that. So I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to select my Hack Lab, and there it is. There's that Windows 10. And I'm going to go ahead and select OK and select Next. Select Next, and I'm going to click on Finish. And there it is. There's my Windows 10 machine. It's a blank virtual machine currently because we have not installed the ISO file yet. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to right click on the Windows 10. We're going to select Settings. I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 gigabytes of RAM. I'm going to leave the processor at 2 core. All the other settings will remain the same except here where it says CD DVD drive. I'm going to select Use ISO image file. And I'm going to browse to that ISO image file that I just downloaded. And there it is right there under the desktop inside my Hack Labs. And it was inside the Windows 10 folder, and there it is right there. Click Open, and we'll select OK. Now this next step I've learned is a little bit tricky for some folks, so pay attention. I'm going to turn on my virtual machine. As soon as I do, you want to click inside the black screen and press any key to continue. You ready? Okay, here we go. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to click inside real quick. Okay. Oh, wait for it. Okay, I'm inside. Now you want to press any key to continue right away. Well, that only showed for a few seconds, right? As you press any key, Windows would have started. However, because I did not, and I did that on purpose, but give it a good 3 minutes before you try to do a hard restart. You can do a hard restart up here through Player. Now, a software update is asking me to do an update as well. This is for the VMware Tool. I'm going to show you guys how to install that later, so I'm just going to exit out of that for now. Now, like I predicted, it has now taken me to the boot menu. So I'm going to click back inside the screen. And by the way, sometimes you're probably like, hey, where did my mouse go? Well, if you press Control Alt, your mouse will come back out and you can go back into your physical machine. But while in the virtual machine, you can click back inside the screen so that I can select the menu that I want. And I'm going to hit the down arrow key, and I want to boot from the CD-ROM drive. Before I press enter, I need to be ready to press any key within a few seconds notice. You ready? Enter. Press any key. There we go. You see that? I hope you heard my keyboard click. You have to press any key right away. Otherwise, you know, it's going to time out again, and it's going to force you to do the whole process all over again. Alright, now it's just a waiting game and going through the prompts. We'll go ahead and select next. Select install now. Okay, we got to accept the terms, so let's go ahead and do that and select next. And then we're going to choose custom install. Select next, and then we wait. Depending on how fast your machine is will determine how fast you get through this. Alright, Windows is starting up. Alright, now we got...
Hi there, I'm Cortana, and I'm
Now we
here to
got
help.
Cortana. Let's go ahead and mute that.
Use your voice or the
Let me go ahead and maximize my screen. Now if you notice, we have not installed a VMware tool, so the screen is not as wide, but it will be. Let's go ahead and choose our region, and then alright, choose your keyboard. Skip that. This next part is important, so please pay attention. Do not set up your account using a Microsoft account. If you do, there may be restrictions set by that account domain. In addition, you will effectively join that Microsoft account domain and will not be able to join your own domain when you create your Active Directory later. So, what you need to do is select Domain Join instead. From there, you want to enter your username. This is a local account that we'll be creating, so you can enter any name you like. I'm going to enter my first initial and last name and select next. And then you select the password. Please don't forget your password. And next, yes, enter your password again. Enter our security questions. Click on accept. Sure, why not? It's up to you, yes or no on that one. Choose privacy settings. We'll accept. Okay, we are almost done. Right, notice in my virtual machine I have 90 days for my Windows license. After that, I will lose some features on this machine. I'd say 90 days is more than fair, considering it was downloaded for free. One major thing to note when you have an expired license is that it may restart every few hours without notice. That can get pretty annoying. Another thing to note is how, your VM works. For those of you that are still struggling on the concept, notice this is my Windows 10 virtual machine, and this is my physical machine here. It's got my start button here for my physical machine. It's my start button for my virtual machine. Don't mix the two up, especially if you're doing hack labs and you don't want to end up putting malware on your physical machine. Anything I do inside of this virtual machine does not impact what I do outside of the virtual machine. Another problem, like I mentioned earlier, is the screen is very small. So let's go ahead and fix that. We'll need to install the VMware tool. So I'm going to hit player, go to manage. I'm going to select install VMware tools. I'm going to select download and install. Okay, after selecting that, we will now need to go to our File Explorer. And what we need to do is go to our PC. And then from there, you'll see the VMware Tool has been loaded on our DVD drive. Double click that to run it. And you're probably wondering, DVD drive, right? This is actually a virtual DVD drive because this is a virtual machine. So it doesn't physically exist, but it was almost like when I select player and installed it, it virtually loaded a CD onto the DVD drive. All right, we'll select next. We'll go for the typical installation and install. All right, and it's all done. We'll select finish, and we must restart. Alright, my computer's restarted. Now if I enter the full screen mode, would you look at that? Much better viewing experience. Okay, that concludes our installation for Windows 10. Congrats, you now should have 2 virtual machines installed. See you in the next one.